Sound rolling.
Okay.
Hi Aya.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Actually, I'd like you to introduce yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm Ayandam Tembu.
And your brand is?
My brand is Velase.
Nice.
So Velase is sort of like Mtembu clan name. So as a kid, I grew up being called Velase a lot. I grew more accustomed to Velase as my identity than Mtembu. So that's why I named the brand Velase.
So Velase is not your actual surname?
No, my actual surname is Mtembu. I'm from Durban.
Okay.
So I was born in Durban and then kind of just moved around KZN. Parents always moving around, moved to Olundi, lived in Eshowe for a while. So that's like the rural side of KZN, like the north side. And then moved back to Durban and now I'm here.
And what specifically made you gravitate towards here instead of stay there? What took you out of there?
Because I mean the fashion industry is more fast-paced this side, and you know, this is where it's at basically.
So that's what spoke to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I studied at the Durban University of Technology in 2011, graduated in 2014. Best years of my life.
Best years of your life?
Yeah.
So you've never studied anything else before? This has been your passion from day one?
From the get-go. I guess that's where my talent got nurtured, and I just really got to learn about fashion, the technical side. You know, it was no longer just passion
things
and dream. It was no longer just a dream, but I was actually practicing it. I immediately won an internship with David Tlale.
Okay.
So I interned for David for a year.
Right.
And then immediately after that, I then just started pursuing my own brand.
Like from there, you just like cut off different.
I've never had a break to do any other thing.
Wow.
After school, I went straight to work for David, and then after a year, and then I just went on with my brand. Basically, the business side, I learned a lot about the business aspects of fashion, you know. It was no longer just about, you know, being a creative and being passionate. I learned that this is actually a business industry. For instance, working with private clients, I learned how the whole process works, as well as treating the customer as king, as they say in retail. I also learned how to approach retailers as well. So yeah. I started my own brand in 2015, but I started showcasing in 2014 while working for David. So I started showcasing as my own designer. But then in 2015, that's when I started the business. It was kind of interesting because then after interning for David, you no longer have the same resources. So you're kind of on your own. You have to do everything by yourself. So it was a bit strenuous, but I guess I got it right. Access to finances has been it's very challenging for emerging designers or brands. So I've learned to actually go out on my own and look for clients in order to, you know, create some financial stability for my business. It's being invited to show at Fashion Week. I've showed at both AFI Fashion Week as well as SA Fashion Week very recently. So that was kind of good in terms of marketing and giving me credibility as a brand. It's just the financial strain, hey? preparing a collection is very financially demanding. You have to kind of pay a show fee, and you have to invest a lot of money in preparing the collection. So yeah. They have to approach fashion as a business from the get-go. You know, they have to be business savvy from the beginning. They should stop approaching fashion as a dream or a poetic, creative industry. It's a very business-oriented industry. Because when I started with conceptual collections, and it was very much about me expressing my art and stuff like that. But now, when I prepare a collection, I ensure that it will kind of bring me some financial gain. You know, I produce collections with retail in mind. That is this sellable? Is this a product that people are actually gonna find compelling enough to buy? The pros are that you get credibility. You get invited to all sorts of programs. I mentioned I did the Fashion Meets Jazz last week. And you get new clients, you know, you find retailers approaching you, you know, wanting to know if they could, you know, create a working relationship with you. The cons would be the financial demands of showing a fashion week. They can be a bit too much for an upcoming or an emerging designer like me. It's doable. It's just, yeah, you kind of need to be prepared for it, you know. I think we've made some progress because 10 years ago, fashion wasn't really seen as an important industry. People always thought it was a frivolous industry in this country. But now I see that it's actually become a component of our culture. South Africans just love fashion, and I think we are making progress, but then we still have the competition with the Western companies like top shops and stuff like that. But there is progress. There's progress. I'd love to see us remove these big retailers from overseas. The competition is quite tough because we have them. People kind of love gravitating towards these Zaras and things like that. So I'd love to see more South African brands, you know, just rising up and actually be on the same level as these big Western brands. I mean, there's been growth in the clothing and textile industry in terms of manufacturing, but I still think there's still a long way to go. So we still need to grow to that level of China and India in terms of manufacturing and clothing and textiles. Yeah. I'd love to see more African designers just be authentic with their products, you know, tell the African stories with pride. Because I see that Africa is actually gaining attention from the global industry. So I'd love to see us, you know, be more authentic in terms of our stories and our creative products, as well as maintaining high standards of quality in terms of workmanship and things like that. I think a lot of us we still see ourselves as the minority. So I'd love to see us, you know, strive for, you know, the same level that international designers work on. In the next 2 years, I just see myself really pursuing local retail and really succeeding in it. And then in 5 years, we could look at going international. I'm on every social media network. And Aya Velase, I'm glad that it's the only Aya Velase name on the internet. So I'm on Instagram. I have 2 accounts actually. One is for my brand, it's at @ayavelase_official. My personal account is at Aya Velase. Twitter at Aya Velase. Facebook, I have an Aya Velase page. I'm on Tumblr as well, ayavelase.tumblr.com. I'm on Pinterest as well, Google Plus as well, LinkedIn as well. I'm on all of them.